So I've hit F5 to recalculate the field, and what we want to do is cover the PTV with a minimum of 95% of the dose. Okay, so what I'm going to do is look at my 95% isodose, and we can see that that's this line here. Okay, so we can see that actually by delivering a single post field, we're only treating such a small amount of the PTV with 95% of the dose, and all this area of the PTV here is getting less than 95%. So this is why I need to have a little bit of a think about when we use single fields. Okay, so what we're going to do for today's purposes, just to have a go at optimizing this plan, is what I want you to do is get the high dose region, so this kind of snug kind of portion of the isodose, the field edge where there's like the 80 and the 70%, as close to this edge of the PTV here and as close to the edge of the PTV here. Okay, and the way that we do that is by manipulating our field size. So as we scroll up and down the patient here, we can see that this line here, this grey line, moves with us. So as we scroll down the patient, this slice here relates to this slice on the patient here. Okay, so we can see here that this area here that's not the PTV is receiving dose that doesn't need to be received. Okay, so what we want to do is be able to bring this field in a little bit here, but the problem we've got is as we scroll higher up in the patient, or more superior, we can see here that it's actually quite tight here. So if I was to move this field size in like this, so that it made it tighter down here, and hit F5, then let's have a look what it would do at the superior end of the treatment. We can see that we would now delivering no dose to that point here. Okay, so when we've only got a rectangular field, then essentially what all we can do is make it optimized to the widest point. So that's something like that, I would guess, and then scroll up and down, and you might be able to tweak that, but I want you to get that isodose as tight as you can at the widest point, so something like this. Okay, so clearly this isn't very good, is it? So here we're irradiating tissue here that we don't need to do, and lower down we're irradiating tissue here that we don't need to do. So that equates to that portion there and that portion there. So the thing that we can use to shape the field better is our MLCs, so our multi-leaf collimators, and so all modern Linacs have MLCs on them. So that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to do right click, and we're going to go new MLC, and we're going to right click on the MLC, and we're going to do fit to structure. And as we did before, we're going to make the field size 0.5 centimetre bigger all the way round, but this time it's going to shape the MLCs. So look, now it conforms all the way to the PTV like this. Okay, what I'm going to do actually is just change the colour of the PTV, because it's the same colour as the leaves. It doesn't make it stick out that much. So we can right click on our PTV and we'll go to colour and style, and let's make it magenta, shall we? There we go. There we go, that sticks out a little bit more now. Okay, so when we click on our MLCs, we can see what they are. So now we can see that it's formed a shape closely matching the PTV. So if I click F5 now, we can see as we scroll up and down this patient that this high dose region here hugs the edge of the patient quite well. So lower down here the field size gets smaller, and as we get higher up here in the middle it gets bigger, and then smaller again towards the top end. So what we can do is optimize this further if we wanted to do by adjusting single leaves or banks of leaves. So if we wanted to make create more dose in this region here, we could look along this line, and that tells us that that's that MLC here that's adjusting that. So what we can do is click on MLC there, and what I can do is pick that leaf up, and we can move the leaves around to make that feel bigger. In fact, what I'm going to do is just open it up quite a bit just to emphasize the point for you. So I'm going to open that leaf up, and we can see, can you see as I do that up here, that that's doing that. So then when I calculate the dose now, the dose is going to bulge out here. So let's hit F5 and see what that does. Yeah, so it's done that there, hasn't it? Okay, so what we need to do is work our way up and down the patient, optimizing those leaves in order to make them, as I say, about 0.5 does the job roughly, but then often you have to tweak from that point onwards. Okay, so we can optimize our field. So hit pause now and spend a little time optimizing the field so that this high dose region is clipping the edge of the PTV either side.